Hi guys, a very warm welcome to all of you in our YouTube channel गुरुमंत्र शिक्षा का ग्रंथ और मैं हूँ आपकी एजुकेटर सरन्या and today we are going to deal with the topic, a very important topic, agarose gel electrophoresis. All this comes under techniques part. Okay, so from today onwards we are going to start dealing with some of the most important techniques which you should know by default, and all of these techniques you would have already done in your colleges. Okay, so you're already done your college, maybe in UG also, in PG also you would have done it, but today we are going to deal some of these topics in detail. Okay, so that even if you're not very much sure about your basics, you can cover it over here, and if you know it already everything, so you can simply take it like a revision. Okay, so both ways it is going to benefit you only. Okay, so let's start from today onwards. It's going to be techniques class. We're going to actually deal with some of the most important techniques you should know, and after that we'll go to the next unit. Okay, we'll try to complete as much as possible before your exam starts. So first, what is agarose gel electrophoresis? So it is basically a method in which you can separate your DNA. Most probably this is used for separation of DNA. Okay, for protein separation they use SDS page, but for most of the important concepts in agarose gel electrophoresis is that you separate DNA. Okay, agarose gel electrophoresis is a method of gel electrophoresis. It is used in biochemistry, molecular biology, genetics, and chemistry. Okay, so clinical chemistry, in order to separate DNA or RNA. Okay, so mostly nucleic acid separation it is used. Actually, you can separate protein also, but for protein they mostly prefer SDS page because it is much advanced and it is better. So agarose is basically a natural linear polymer that is being extracted from the seaweed, and that forms a gel matrix by hydrogen bonding. When you heat this agarose and with the buffer and then you cool it, it forms a matrix. Okay, so agarose is basically, you'll get it like a powder. Okay, that you will dissolve in buffer. It will not completely dissolve because for this to dissolve heat is required. Okay, so after you put agarose in the buffer, you heat it. Okay, you heat it and the agarose will dissolve in the buffer and it will become a liquid. But when you cool it, it should be immediately used for casting the gel. If you keep it for some time in the beaker or in the conical flask itself, it will become solidified and you cannot use it. You'll again have to reheat it to use it. Okay, so you have to quickly use the agarose. They are the most popular medium for separation of moderate to large side nucleic acids with a wide range of separation. Okay, so this is the agarose gel setup. You have a power supply with positive and negative electrodes and a voltmeter. Okay, so this is the agarose gel tank. It is completely filled with buffer. This is the gel. Okay, this is the gel. You can see here anode and cathode. Okay, so what do you think, from where does the DNA move to where? Okay, from where does it start and where does it move? You know, DNA is negatively charged, so it will have affinity towards the positive end. So from negative to positive it will move. Okay, so if you load your DNA, where will you load? In this area you will load DNA over here, and it will maybe move over this way. Okay, it will move from here to here. Okay, so this is the setup. Okay, we will study about everything in detail, but I just wanted to show you this is how it works. So what is the principle of agarose gel electrophoresis? So gel electrophoresis separates the DNA fragments based on the size. Okay, based on the size, it will separate the DNA. DNA is pipetted into the sample well. That is, you have the DNA that you will pipette into the sample well and you will apply the electric current. And the electric current causes the negatively charged DNA to migrate towards the positive end. Okay, so this is the first step. That is your principle. Okay, the rate of migration is proportional to the size, which means larger fragments will move slowly and smaller fragments will move fastly. Okay, so it is like small fragments will move quickly, larger fragments will be moving slowly. And you can visualize the DNA by using an intercalating dye, that is ethidium bromide. I hope you guys, when done agarose gel electrophoresis in your laboratory, would have used ethidium bromide. Okay, ethidium bromide they will be using in 5 microliters concentration. Okay, so that is because it is an intercalating dye. It will go in between the DNA and bind. Okay, in between the DNA it will go and bind. That is why it is called as intercalating. Okay, and when ultraviolet light falls on it, it will fluoresce. Okay, we can see the fluorescence. So DNA fragment they take up the dye as they migrate through the gel. And where do you put this ethidium bromide? You will put this ethidium bromide in the gel. Okay, while you are preparing the agarose gel electrophoresis, you will put ethidium bromide. After you have melted the agarose gel electrophoresis, you will simply put the ethidium bromide in the agarose and you will directly use it. So illumination with ultraviolet light causes the intercalated dye to fluoresce. So the fluorescence intensity will tell you how much DNA is present. Like for example, if fluorescence is more, which means it's a very large DNA fragment. And if the fluorescence is less, it means it's a small DNA fragment. Okay. So the ladder will be present. Okay. So the ladder will be present and we know for every band what will be the molecular size. We will know that. So ladder is basically like a reference. All the sample you load is of unknown size. Unknown size you will load. You want to know what is the size of that DNA fragment, what is the molecular weight of that DNA fragment. So what you can do is you will use a ladder simply. So ladder will already have the size, that is this much kilo base pairs of DNA will be present, like that. So you can simply compare with the ladder and you can know what is the size of your DNA fragment. So this is the principle of agarose gel electrophoresis. You should know this because this they will always ask you in GATE and life science examinations, but also they will definitely ask you in your PhD interviews. Okay, so you should be ready for all of this because these are some of the most important topics which you should know, because all of these topics you have been doing. Okay, it's not like you know this theoretically, but I can be like damn sure that this is the most simplest technique which any laboratory could perform. So I hope you guys would have done this in your college time. Okay. Even in BSc, they do agarose gel electrophoresis and teach you. So you should have probably done this. If you have not done this, then I would say it was a big loss. But it's okay. Anyways, when you're into the research field or you're going to a job, you can do there. But you should at least know how it works, what is the principle, and what are the stuff used in this. So all of this, if you know, even if you have not done it, to the place wherever you require to do this, you will be learning it. So instrumentation of agarose gel electrophoresis. Okay, so you will have an electrophoresis chamber and a power supply. This is the electrophoresis chamber and power supply. Then you'll have a gel casting tray. Okay, so gel casting tray, what you will do, you will prepare the gel. How will you prepare the gel? You will take agarose, you will mix that in the buffer, and you will put the ethidium bromide. Okay, you will put ethidium bromide after the gel is melted. Okay, then you will cast the gel into the tray, and you will keep a comb. Actually, you will keep a comb first in the tray. You will keep a sample comb in the tray. Combs are used because it will form a well. I'll show you how it is. Combs you will keep because after solidification of the gel, it will be like a empty space. So like a well. In that empty space or in a well, you can actually put your sample. So you will have a gel casting tray. You will keep your combs and then you will pour your agarose. Okay, the melted molten agarose with ethidium bromide you will pour, and you will allow it to actually dry. Okay, solidify. You will allow it to cross link and solidify. Okay, after it is done, you will remove the comb. So removal of the comb, it means you will have wells. Okay, as you remove the comb, there will be gaps, and those gaps are nothing but the wells in which you can actually inject your sample DNA. Okay, so you will have a electrophoresis buffer. So we were talking about buffer for making agarose and buffer for making gel, everything. Okay, so this buffer is tris acetate EDTA, or else we can call it as TAE buffer or TBE buffer, tris borate EDTA. Note this point down, very very important. These type of questions will definitely ask you in your PhD interviews. Like, what is the buffer you will be using in agarose gel electrophoresis? You should be able to know TAE and TBE. And next question will be, what is the full form of TAE? You should know tris acetate EDTA. Okay, and for tris borate EDTA. Okay, ethylene diamine tetraacetate. Okay. Next is loading buffer. Okay, loading buffer is nothing but you're going to load your DNA sample in the wells, and for that you will need some kind of a dye and a buffer. So buffer you'll be using. So it will contain a glycerol, because glycerol is something that will weigh down your DNA sample. It is a dense material. Glycerol is a dense material. It will not allow your DNA molecules to escape from the well and go out. It will actually keep your DNA in the well. So glycerol is used, and tracking dye will be used. Okay, tracking dye will be used so that you can actually know how far your separation has been done. You cannot allow the separation to go on forever. So that tracking dye will tell you, like, at the end of the gel when it comes, you can stop the voltage, you can stop the current, electricity, and it will stop there. Okay, and which migrate in the gel and allow visual monitoring or how far the electrophoresis has been proceeded. Okay, and the tracking dye you will be using bromophenol blue. For staining, DNA molecules are easily visualized under ultraviolet. Okay, so if you keep DNA molecules, you will be able to see in ultraviolet. And why you are able to see ultraviolet rays? Because you have used ethidium bromide. Ethidium bromide is an intercalating dye. Okay, this is an intercalating dye. This will go in between the DNA double helix and will bind there. Okay, it will be present over there. So if you visualize this in ultraviolet, which means when ultraviolet rays pass on the ethidium bromide, it will fluorescence, and that you can visualize in ultraviolet. So nucleic acids can be stained after electrophoretic separation by soaking the gel in a solution of ethidium bromide. This is an alternative method. Either you can put ETBR in the gel itself, or you can actually prepare a solution of ETBR and soak your gel after the separation in ETBR. When intercalated into double-stranded DNA, fluorescence of this molecule increases greatly. It is possible to detect DNA with the extrinsic fluorescence, that is 1-anilino 8-naphthalene sulfonate. It is also used for fluorescence purpose only. Next, you have a trans illuminator. Okay, it is also called as UV light box. Okay, so in this trans illuminator only you will keep your gel which is containing DNA, and you can visualize it. So steps, what are the steps in agarose gel electrophoresis? You can see this is the DNA sample. Okay, DNA sample. What will the DNA sample will contain? It will contain the buffer with glycerol. It will contain bromophenol blue tracking dye, and it will contain your DNA sample. Okay, so this is the DNA loading sample that will be loaded in the gel. You can see this is the agarose gel. I told you, after removal of the combs, you can see here now wells have been formed. After the removal of the combs, the wells have been formed, and in these wells, which is like an empty space, you can actually load your DNA. And this will be loaded near the end of cathode, that is negative terminal, and the opposite end will be a positive terminal. And why is that so? Because your DNA is negatively charged. Okay, so it is negatively charged. When electric current is applied, it will be moved from negative end to the positive end. Okay, that is why. And the second step will be application of the electric field application. And how does the electric field will be spreading? I mean, how is this DNA sample traveling? With the help of a buffer, with the help of the buffer, TAE and TBE buffer, this will be traveling. And the power supply will be giving up to 150 volt. Okay, 150 volt. you'll be giving. It's actually 150 millivolt, not volt. It will be 150 millivolt you'll be giving. Okay. So after the gel has been separated like this, you can see DNA separation will take place, and this will be like for timing is 45 minutes. This will take, for the separation of DNA, it will take like around 45 minutes. You can see in one well you will be loading DNA marker, okay, which will tell you about the this will be of known size, okay, how many kilobases, okay, how many kilobases each DNA fragment contains, this will be known, okay. And these are the unknowns, these are your samples, okay. So based on the comparison between, for example, this is lane number 1, lane number 2, lane number 3. So third lane you're going to compare it with the first lane, and you're going to actually find out what is the molecular size, that is how many kilo base pairs this DNA actually contains. So these are the DNA fragments, and its size can be actually found out by uh, referencing with this marker. Okay, so your gel is ready. You can actually you cannot see the DNA over here, okay, you cannot see the DNA, but the tracking dye is put in the DNA sample just to tell you that how far the samples have been traveled, okay, how far it's the gel has, I mean the DNA samples have been traveled. For example, this is that blue color dye, okay, blue color bromophenol blue dye. If it reaches around 3/4 of the gel, you have to stop the power supply, that is the indication, or else the DNA will run out of the gel, okay, that is a waste of time also, and everything goes waste. So you will have to track how far the DNA has traveled. After this, you can remove this gel and keep it in a trans illuminator, and you can actually take a picture and use it for whatever your purpose is. So application of agarose gel electrophoresis, that estimation of the size of DNA molecules. You can actually find the size of the DNA molecule. You can analyze about the PCR products. You can separate the restricted genomic DNA, that is prior to your southern blot, or RNA you can isolate prior to northern blot, okay. It is helpful in restriction mapping of the cloned DNA, also to resolve the circular DNA with different supercoilings. For all of this purpose, agarose gel electrophoresis is used. You can see this. This is the agarose gel electrophoresis apparatus, and these are the gel casting tray. These are the gel casting tray. You can see this area. This is the gel, and here these are the wells. Actually, before the gel has been poured, here one comb will be kept, and here another comb will be kept. You can see here the holder is present for keeping the comb, and after that you will pour the gel. Okay, so this area will not be cross-linked by the gel because a comb will be present there. So you can remove the comb after the gel solidifies, and you will find wells like this. These are so beautiful wells, you can see, right? So in this well you can load your DNA sample. So this is how you load your DNA sample. You use a pipette, okay, you'll use a pipette, and you will load your DNA sample. This is the setup, and it will be completely filled with buffer. Okay, it will be completely filled with buffer, and you will actually put your sample after that. So you can see this is the comb, this is the comb, this is the buffer, and this is the agarose gel. And if you remove the comb, you can see the wells. These are the wells. This is the negative electrode. DNA is negatively charged, so it will move towards the positive electrode. Okay, so this is the visualization. You can visualize this. These are the ladders, you can see. This is a this is the wells. These are the wells you can see, and this is the ladder. Okay, this is of known size of DNA. For example, this is 3 kilo base pairs, this is 1 kilo base pairs, this is 500 base pairs, this is 100 base pairs. So you should keep one thing in your mind, that is the DNA fragments which are smaller in size will move faster and will be near the end of the gel, and the DNA fragments which are larger in size will be moving slower and it will be like above. So similarly your ladder will also be there. So ladder will be starting from lower molecular size, that is lower base pairs, to higher base pairs. So at the end of the gel it will be like low base pairs, and at the top it will be like high base pairs. Okay, remember this. So this is the image when you see in trans illuminator, UV trans illuminator. You can see orange color image of the bands. That is due to your ethidium bromide, and these the intensity will tell you about the amount of DNA present. So these are the image reference. These are the sites where I took the images from to show you guys for better understanding. Okay. So that is all guys about agarose gel electrophoresis. So I hope you have understood about agarose gel electrophoresis well. So you can comment in the section and tell me about the experience of your class. If you are a CSIR NET aspirant and are interested in joining an academy platform for complete education regarding the exam, you can do that by following Neha Taneja ma'am. You will, the benefits you'll get are daily live classes will be there, structured courses will be there, live tests and quizzes, unlimited access. You'll get so much of recordings you can watch again and again. And these are the cost. These are the cost for the um, every month, third month, 6 month, 12th month, 24 months, whatever package you're interested in, you can take this. And to get a 10% off, you can use a referral code Neha. Okay. So like, share, subscribe, and also comment in our YouTube channel Gurmantra Shiksha Ka Granth. You can join our Telegram channel Gurmantra. You can also visit our Facebook page Gurmantra Shiksha Ka Granth. You will get regular updates in Telegram. Okay. So you can visit our website www.gurmantra.in. If you have any further queries, you can mail us on tanejanehaofficial@gmail.com. You can contact us on 93512800000. Thank you so much.